Alright, assemble back. Come on. Back to your station. Back to your station. What you call it, man? Huh? No. This is one group. There's 4 days. This is one group. Group 1 day, you got 3, bro. It's one group. It's one group. Yeah, because they moved it down there. Alright, listen up. Ready, mate? So we got here. Move. Back. And just walk back. Let's go. So here, just stand up and go forward. Move, walk back. That's it. Yeah. Straight through the straight. No, see him. Don't change. Don't change. Go and back. Alright, now move down. Once you finish, move down. So here now, shuffle, run all the way through. Shuffle, run all the way through. That's it, and go. That's it. Yeah. Again, and go. That's it. Two.
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
I feel like I'm from UK, you know.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
My Talawers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning. All depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Apparently there's something wrong with my audio. So do let me know if you guys can hear me in the comment section. I'm receiving a signal that you guys apparently can't hear me. Is that true? Let me know in the comment section. I think I might need to exit my stream and then come back in. But before I continue, or maybe you guys are not going to tell me, I might have to test this out myself. So let me see if you guys can hear me, because apparently you can't. Apparently my audio has been removed. So let me know in the comment section if you guys can hear me. No one's going to let me know. I guess I'm going to have to find out myself. Let me go and check my video. Right, let's see. See something. Okay, let me go and do something. You guys are not helpful at all. Anyway, there's really my audio has been removed, so video. So you guys can hear me, right? Well, if you can't hear me, if you're having difficulty hearing me, then let me know and I will amend whatever needs to be amended. But apparently you guys should be able to hear me. So okay, thank you. Okay, we're good. I was a little bit concerned there. I'm like, why is it saying that you guys can't hear me? Probably my fault. I should have done a little run through, but I thought everything was good to go because it's pretty much something that I'm very used to with this system. So I do apologize for that. Sorry about the delay. Let me know how your weekend was. How was your weekend, guys? Didn't give you guys a live stream on Sunday. I have already told you guys that I don't particularly like Sunday live streams because I like to use my Sundays to build myself up for the week ahead. So do apologize for that one again. I might go back to doing things the old way where I give you guys a live stream on a Sunday, or perhaps not. It all depends on what works best for both of us. If you've not hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Do go ahead and hit the like button. Another crunch time awaits, guys. Another little, I like to call these games little mini cup finals. So about 5 more mini cup final awaits. Out of the 6, we've already played 1, and we already know we managed to handle business away from home, beating them 4 goals to the good. And by them, I mean Bermuda. So next up on the horizon, we have a massive 6 points. Yes, it is technically 3 points up for grabs, but games like these where they're mini cup finals, I think it's safe to say that they are, without a shadow of a doubt, a 6 pointer. And so standing in our way at the National Stadium tomorrow is our Caribbean rivals, that's Trinidad and Tobago. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to go through the press conference, today's press conference, share my thoughts on the press conference, and also look towards tomorrow's game to see if we're going to be securing another all-important 3 points. Let me know how you guys are feeling about tomorrow's match against Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, as I said, it's going to be match day 2 out of 6 pivotal matches there, as we seek to qualify for our first ever FIFA Men's World Cup. First time, hopefully, doing so since 1999. So do let me know how you guys feel about tomorrow's match. Do you think we're going to do another win? Do you think it's going to be a draw, or do you think that Trinidad and Tobago are going to spring up a surprise on us? Do let me know. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is try and find this press conference. Hopefully it is working. For some reason, there seems to be some sound issue, but Dwight says that you guys can hear me. So I'm going to go ahead and play the press conference, and then I will, similar to previous press conferences, I'll stop if and when I feel necessary and share my thoughts on what's been said pertaining to the head coach's response. Okay, so I'm about to play that press conference there in about 3 seconds. If you can't hear it, do let me know in the comment section. All right.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. We're joined at the head table by the head coach of the Jamaica Senior Men's National Team, Coach Stephen Farren. We also have the Reggae Boyz goalkeeper, lightweight. We'll now open the floor for questions. So we kind of ask you to raise your hand and indicate once you're identified that we will call on you for your question. So we can now commence proceedings as training is going to start at 9:30. So we look forward to your questions. We'd like to kick us off this morning.
Coach, I get started. All right. So obviously a commanding victory back in Bermuda 4-0. What is the message this week, just to make sure the guys don't get their foot off the gas and prepare for Trinidad, and there won't be any overlaps or any lapse in judgment when it comes to Trinidad? So what is that message you're kind of giving and still the team?
Well, I think that was the key thing with the game against Bermuda, was the emphasis on respecting the opponent. No easy games in the Caribbean, and making sure that we approach the game in the right manner, professionally. And the players did that. And the same again. But everybody knows that Trinidad will be a tough opponent.
I have to pause, guys. I think he's finally getting it. I think he's finally realizing, and perhaps this is me jumping the gun, but I reckon he's probably been given a talking to. I think, it's either the president, Mr. Michael Ricketts, perhaps his technical advisor, Mr. Rudolph Speed, or maybe a bit of Mr. Simon P, that is the press officer, Mr. Simon Preston. They're probably giving him a polite little, insight into what football means to the people of the Caribbean, and more so the people of the black, gold, and green, because he's saying, it could all be noise, it could all be words, but I think he's probably finally getting it, that football does mean the world to us. And some people, not all, but some people do follow football religiously, and we love football just like any other nation, be it the English, the Spanish, or the French. So let me go ahead and press play on that one once more.
Certainly improving from Dwight York. We've played them 3 times already, so we know each other very well. And it'll be a hard game, tough game. watched their game against Curaçao. They should have won. They played very well. A dangerous opponent.
Coach, you're seeing some new faces still in the squad. Are you still looking for a particular blend, maybe personality, maybe player type that you're looking for in the squad, or you think this is kind of what you're looking for in terms of squad?
We have many players missing, many senior players missing. I think 9 or 10 that would normally be in the squad. What we've done, the recruitment department, Dan Neville, Simon helps a lot also. We've been following a lot of players over the past year. It's a good job that we did because we've needed them throughout the summer and also for this camp. So we've introduced 1 or 2 people, and yeah, we're pleased that we got the result against Bermuda. Came together very well with little time together. So we need that again. So going forward, everybody has to be ready. Most important thing is professional against Bermuda. We have to be the same again against Trinidad, and we hope that the supporters will also come out. We need that. We need their energy. That's key always in the second game. So I'm looking forward to a good atmosphere that the boys can play in.
Jamali, congrats on another clean sheet for your career. When you got the message that you're going to be starting for this match, because obviously Andre played without, like, what was your mindset? How did you prepare going into Bermuda and also for your upcoming match against Trinidad?
I mean, it's same preparation for me as, you know, as if I was at my club, just preparing mentally and physically for the game. Obviously, you never know what could happen coming here with Andre, and, you know, I always got to be ready, you know, to play, and, you know, did that well against Bermuda, and, you know, got to do it again. But it's just being able to step up in those moments when I'm called on.
Yeah. And as far as, like I said, the preparation piece of it, you as an individual watching and knowing how things are going right now, you have 6 matches to the World Cup, and knowing that every goal matters. Did you feel any type of pressure as far as like this Bermuda that we're expected to, very little goals against, or did you just go out there and play just like normal?
I mean, there's no need for me to, you know, to put extra pressure on myself. Like I said, it's another game, just preparing for the game and going out there and executing the game plan and just giving my best to help the team win.
Coach mentioned that we played Trinidad recently. Typically, I think most fans see it as a bit of a diary. All the players during this game.
Obviously, we know it's a big game. That there's, you know, huge implications with the World Cup qualification on the line. So we have to be locked in on and off the field and just going out there and getting the job done.
Coach, is there any danger to playing a team that is familiar with you?
In the Caribbean, there's a danger of playing every team we play against. Played them 3 times or not at all. So
Took him long enough to realize that. Big up yourself in the comment section. Those of you there have dropped your comments in the comment section. Big up yourself, Dwight Daly, David J, Wayne Price. Yes, you're only supposed to be hearing the audio. There's no visual. That was intentional from myself. So everything is working according to how I planned it. So you're just going to be hearing the audio. If you can't hear the audio of the press conference, then let me know and I will move towards my backup plan. Okay, but big up yourselves there, you guys there in the comment section. DC, big up yourself. I hope you guys are in good health. If you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and hit the like button. It does not cost you a penny.
familiarity, yeah, we know each other. We know each other individually very well. It's on the night. That's the most important. Players have to perform, do the job, be professional, prepare right. And we got to make sure that, you know, God willing, that the breaks go our way. We score at the right time. We're lucky in some instances because that's football. You can play well, but you still need that little bit of luck on your side, and we hope to get that tomorrow.
Folks, last question. Are there any changes to the roster, any injury updates, and the substitutions that came in the last 48 hours?
No, obviously, Warner Brown was included in the last squad, but he wasn't fit to play. He got injured in the game for Mount Pleasant on the Monday evening, the day that we joined up. So we were disappointed in that, because Warner Brown has been key striker of the recent camps. So we were disappointed in that. We're continuously treating him since the Bermuda game. So we're going to give him every opportunity to be fit to participate at some stage tomorrow.
Thanks, Coach. Any questions, David?
Coach King from Boston TV. Coach, we saw where Belka match started and really had an impressive game. However, the only thing that was lacking from his game was the goal that his performance deserved. Coach, having worked with legends like Sir Alex Ferguson, Cristiano Ronaldo, and even opposite number Dwight York, what can you pull from working with those persons to assist our strikers in becoming more clinical?
Yeah, I mean, you can work on that, but you're either clinical or you're not. You know.
I love this response. Big ups to Ball Pre TV for that question there, guys. Make sure you follow Ball Pre TV. I think he's across all social media. But yeah, give him a follow on all social media if you can, especially over on YouTube. That's a good question there. I think what the gaffer is basically saying that there's only certain things that a coach can teach you, and I think he's absolutely right. You either have the X factor or you don't. The coach can't teach you how to put the ball in the back of the net. The coach can't tell you how to use your instinct, how to be independent thinkers, which is kind of funny because I think those are some of the basics there that we've seen from a couple of the new recruits there, especially when you look back at last match victory against Bermuda, when you look at the front three. So I like that question there from Ball Pre TV. Do let me know if you guys can hear the audio clearly. If you can't, obviously I'll do something to ensure that you guys can. But I like the question, and I actually like the coach's response even better. Like, in summary, you either have the X factor or you don't. There is not really much more that a coach can do for you. And also, how badly do you want it? Those are the little things there that a coach can't do for you. Fine margins.
No, you're kind of born with that. Bailey is somebody who has scored goals throughout his career, from being a small boy to now. So we know he can score. That's the key thing. The most important is that you get the opportunities in your right areas, the right positions in which you can take your chances and score. And Bailey did that in that game. We watched him a lot last year with Lincoln. Some injuries. He started the season well.
It's so true, isn't it? And it's not just Bailey that does that. Another young player of ours that who's so far, touch wood, he continues on an upward trajectory. Another player that is guilty of doing so, and I'm so blessed to see him in our squad, is Warner Brown. Obviously, we had a little bit of an update there on Warner Brown pertaining to his fitness. Give us a little bit of an update on Warner Brown and why he didn't start. But it's quite similar to what we've seen with Warner Brown when he has played a few matches for us. Like, he's just sticking to the basics, putting himself in the right areas, being at the right place at the right time, playing his heart out, and leaving that pitch at the end of at the end of full time with having given it his all. Again, couple of things there that the usual suspects are guilty of.
And he's a talent. He's 20 years old, 20 years old, that's all. So he's got plenty of years. And hopefully, like he said to me, I said to Mr. Few, he said, hopefully I'm saving them for Tuesday.
Jamal, what's the record between us and Trinidad and Tobago? How can we use that to fire up an excellent performance from our night?
I mean, like Coach said, hopefully we have the fans on our side tomorrow, because that'll be, huge to kind of give us that extra lift that we need to go over the line. But we got to come out, regardless of what the fans do, come out or not. We got to go out as players and just get the job done. That's it.
Coach, you mentioned a lot of key players being out. We tend to play a little bit better without these key players. We saw that in the Unity Cup. Why is that for you?
I don't know if it's for any reason. We've played well with the body that we've had in the squad, the experienced players. We've played well games with that, and also with whether it's a young squad or an old squad, you play well, you don't play well.
Just being honest, I don't think the coach is being honest. I feel like I'm gonna have to peg this one back a little bit there, guys. Big up yourself, Money Pro Music. I hope you're in good health. I feel like Ball Priest question, and also big up to Eddie Vision. Make sure you like and subscribe to Eddie Vision TV over on YouTube, and I think he might be on other social media platforms as well. I think I'm gonna have to peg this one back a little bit, guys, because I think Ball Priest question. And the reason why I might need to backstep is because I actually can't remember the exact question, but I think it kind of I think Edivision's question piggybacks off Ball Priest's question. Whether that was intentional or not, I don't know. So my apologies, but I'm gonna peg this one back just a little bit, just so I can kind of see if the two links. But I think that's the coach's response to Ball Priest TV's question, I think fair on this question. You either have it or you don't. You either got the X factor or you don't. But I think he kind of ran away from giving Edivision the response that the question deserved. So let me just peg this one back just a little bit. All right.
Like he said to me, I said, he missed a few. He said, hopefully I'm positions in which you can. Yeah, I mean,
Started and really had an impressive game.
Participate at some stage tomorrow.
Thanks, Coach. Any other questions, David?
Coach King from Boston TV. Coach, we saw where Whale Kalamachi started and really had an impressive game. However, the only thing that was lacking from his game was the goal that his performance deserved. Coach, having worked with legends like Sir Alex Ferguson, Cristiano Ronaldo, and even opposite number Dwight York, what can you pull from working with those persons to assist our strikers in becoming more clinical?
Yeah, I mean, work on that, but you're either clinical or you're not. You're kind of born with that. But Bailey is somebody who has scored goals throughout his career, from being a small boy to now. So we know he can score. That's the key thing. The most important is that you get the opportunities in the right areas, the right positions in which you can take your chances and score. And Bailey did that in that game. I've watched him. We watched him a lot last year with Lincoln. Some injuries. He started the season well. And he's a talent. He's 20 years old, 20 years old, that's all. So he's got plenty of years. And yeah, I mean, hopefully.
Dwight, exactly. And this is what I'm saying. I think those are two beautiful questions. And I love both of those two questions there. Again, big ups to Ballpree TV and Edivision TV. Those two questions for me, maybe it's just me, but I think they piggyback off each other. And I am literally of the same opinion. I'm like, I love Eddie's question, but he can't answer it. He can't answer. I'm just like, that's a damn good question, but that man cannot answer this. But right now, it's literally squeaky bum time for him. And we know, looking back at the disastrous of a performance from exiting the Gold Cup at the group stage for the very first time in somewhat almost 2 decades, he created a bit of unwanted history for himself. And the fallout to that was his job was on the line. There was a couple of rumors circulating that the gaffer could potentially lose his job. Subsequent to that, we also heard little whispers of players he's basically not their cup of tea. Like, apparently, according to rumors, he allegedly lost the locker room. So I'm listening to that question, I'm thinking that's a beautiful question, but in this moment in time, he just can't answer that question. He can't be honest. I think he quite clearly answered the question, but I'm not buying it. I think we can kind of answer that question for ourselves. But I do like the question, and I'm going to go ahead and play the rest of what McLaren has to say. But fair play to Eddie with that one. I like that question a lot.
Like you said to me, I said, he missed a few. He said, hopefully I'm saving them for Tuesday.
Jamal, how about the rivalry between us and Trinidad and Tobago? How can we use that to fire up an excellent performance tomorrow night?
I mean, like Coach said, hopefully we have the fans on our side tomorrow, because that'll be, huge to kind of give us that extra lift that we need to go over the line. But we got to come out, regardless of what the fans do, come out or not. We got to go out as players and just get the job done. That's it.
David, Eddie.
Coach, you mentioned a lot of key players being out. We tend to play a little bit better without these key players. We saw that in the Unity Cup. Why is that for you?
I don't know if it's for any reason.
You do know.
That we had in the squad, experienced players. We played well games with that, and also with whether it's a young squad or an old squad, you play well, you don't play well. You will always have that balance. It's only a couple of games that we've had.
I kind of feel like he's already answered the question, though. I think his response to Ballpree question, again, I'm connecting the two, and I think the gaffer has already answered that one there. And I think a couple of the things there, I was making notes of his response pertaining to that last question there from Ballpree TV, and he touched on a few things. He spoke about like our clinical prowess. He also spoke about the fact that with a player like Bailey from the Bermuda match, players like that are just born with it. Like you either have it or you don't. You either got the X factor or you don't. Now, listening to the rest of McLaren's response there, when you're comparing those experienced players and also the young players that we're seeing and now, like your Bailey as well as your Tyrese, I'm looking and I'm thinking to myself, and I'm looking at these different types of players, experience and inexperience, and I'm looking at the experienced players in terms of age and how many caps they have for the national team, and I'm thinking how many of our experienced players are coachable. That was one of the things there that really sprung to mind, hence needing to like pull this one back a little bit so I can see if the two questions connect with each other. I'm thinking to myself, maybe you guys can answer this one for me, but how many of our more experienced players are coachable in comparisons to the young proper players that we're seeing now, especially in the Bermuda game, and also what we saw in the Unity Cup? Because there's no secret, managers and head coaches are severely, sometimes unfairly judged based on performances, because quite obviously football is a results game, and so they're more judged severely, as I said, and sometimes unfairly, more so than players. Like when it comes to performances and results, if they're not up to par, your manager or your head coach, they're more likely to see the back door in comparison to a player, for example. So again, I'm just wondering, I don't know, maybe you guys have an answer for that one. How many of our more experienced players are coachable? Because I kind of feel like that is one of our hindrance. I feel like certain more experienced players are not as coachable as these young players that we're now dealing with. But I'm gonna go ahead and play the rest of that press conference there, and also I'll continue to share my thoughts with you guys. Okay.
Where we've had a lot of injuries and had to call upon some young players, and we're just pleased. Like I said, we talk about Jamaica, this World Cup. The future is bright for Jamaica, because there's a lot of young talent. We're showcasing some with like Tyrese Campbell, Bailey Cadamartri. We're showcasing some at the present moment, but there are many, many more underneath that, which as a recruitment department, we've been looking at throughout the year. So, they might not be for this cycle, these young players, but they're definitely for the next cycle. So to give them experience and see that they can deliver in the pressure moments is key to it.
What does that mean? Is his response up in the air, or is that just me? Like, is that one open to interpretation? I think I'm going to pull this one back a little bit. I don't understand what he means. I can't tell if he's talking about Bailey and Tyrese, finally giving opportunities to players as such, because they did touch on the fact that he alluded to the fact that, these young players, giving opportunities to young players playing under pressure. The game against Bermuda is obviously a game where you're under pressure. It's the game where you need to start off on the front foot because it puts you in pole position to hopefully expand on a positive results going into your second fixture. So let me pull this one back a little bit because I'm not really sure what he means by it. Maybe you guys are able to tidy this one up, but let's go ahead and listen to what McLaren had to say about these young players and giving them opportunities.
And also with years old, 20 years old.
Isn't becoming more clinical.
Yeah, I mean, you can't work like that, but you're either clinical or you're not. You're kind of born with that. But Bailey is somebody who has scored goals throughout his career, from being a small boy to now. So we know he can score. That's the key thing. The most important is that you get the opportunities in the right areas, the right positions in which you can take your chances and score. And Bailey did that in that game. I've watched him. We watched him a lot last year with Lincoln. Some injuries. He started the season well. And he's a talent. He's 20 years old, 20 years old, that's all. So he's got plenty of years. And hopefully, like he said to me, I said, he missed a few. He said, hopefully I'm saving them for Tuesday.
One for Jamal. How about the rivalry between us and Trinidad and Tobago? How can we use that to fire up an excellent performance tomorrow night?
I mean, like Coach said, hopefully we have the fans on our side tomorrow, because that'll be, huge to kind of give us that extra lift that we need to go over the line. But we got to come out, regardless of what the fans do, come out or not. We got to go out as players and just get the job done. That's it.
Thanks, David. Eddie?
Coach, you mentioned a lot of key players being out. We tend to play a little bit better without these key players. We saw that in the Unity Cup. Why is that?
I don't know if it's for any reason. We've played well with everybody that we've had in the squad. The experienced players. We've played well in games with that. Also with, whether it's a young squad or an old squad, you play well, you don't play well, you will always have that balance. It's only a couple of games that we've had where we've had a lot of injuries and had to call upon some young players. And we're just pleased. Like I said, we talk about Jamaica, this World Cup. The future is bright for Jamaica, because there's a lot of young talent. We're showcasing some with like Tyrese Campbell, Bailey Cadamatri. We're showcasing some at the present moment, but there are many, many more underneath that, which as a recruitment department, we've been looking at throughout the year. So, they might not be for this cycle, these young players, but they're definitely for the next cycle. So to give them experience and see that they can deliver in the pressure moments is key to it.
Great. I'm going to coach.
Okay, well, I still can't make my mind up on that. I'm going to try and keep it positive. I'm assuming he's talking about additional players that haven't played for the national team yet. Although I don't know what you guys make of that one. Because after last weekend's show of performance, and if they add to that, the likes of Tyrese and Bailey, if they add to that positive performance there, especially in another must-win match on home soil against our biggest Caribbean rivals, I would say that they don't deserve to be holding the bench for any big-name player. And I thought that his job was to qualifiers for the World Cup. I thought he was hired to take us to next summer's World Cup. So again, if something isn't broken, why try to fix it? I'm not really sure what he means by that, because it's kind of giving me this feeling of the Unity Cup performance, where we saw that the team played so much better without a couple of those big name players there, but subsequently when we went to the to the Gold Cup, we kind of regressed. We went back like several steps, if we're being honest, and we brought back in a couple of players there that were perhaps not deserving of a starting 11, and we kind of see how that one panned out. We saw how that one panned out. Not saying it's entirely down to the players that replaced a couple of those players from the Unity Cup fixtures, but nevertheless, I'm not really sure what he meant by that particular response. David J says, the future is now, the coach needs to talk about now, and the players are here now. Yeah, I'm not real. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's something that could be revisited in his next press conference, be it a post-match press conference after tomorrow's game, or perhaps you leave that one for next international window, so the October window, where perhaps he's going to be bringing back a couple of those more experienced and bigger name players. Maybe that's probably the best time to ask him just to clarify what he meant with that particular response, because it's a little bit up in the air and I obviously can't speak on his behalf.
Jamaica was the only team to win. Actually, the one from the sun. What do you think it is for us to make sure that we get this job of setting us up for the remainder of the qualification?
I think winning your home games are always important. You know, I think Bermuda, you're absolutely right. Everybody expected us to win. Difficult game always, but we were professional, got the job done. Now it's a home game, so you've got to win your home games, which is probably why Trinidad will be disappointed they didn't. They deserved to win it, but they didn't. And we have to go tomorrow making, you know, like we did against Guatemala in the World Cup Qualifiers. We got to put a performance there that, you know, the supporters, and that evening the support were absolutely terrific. And we need that again tomorrow. You know, no doubt they can't just turn up. They've got to give us energy. I think that's always the key thing with this Jamaica team. When it's got energy and attitude, we perform well.
But again, the more experienced players don't give you that energy and attitude, and subsequently that is the reason why you don't perform well when you're playing the bigger name players in comparison to the lesser known players.
What are you hoping to see against Trinidad? What do you expect from Trinidad to?
I expect the team to know the job and do the job, work hard, work together, cover each other, be a team, be hard to play against, but also express themselves like they did in the last game. This will be harder, this will be tougher, but we need the same kind of attitude, need the same kind of courage, need the same kind of organisation, discipline. Get them. Like I said, the most I'm disappointed is when we don't perform. Yeah, we like to win, but as a coach, we like performance, because performance gives you wins. So tomorrow, like we did last Friday, we need a good performance.
Yeah, obviously, like Coach said, we've played them a lot over the past year, you know, and we've watched their last game. We've seen the clips of how dangerous they are and how explosive they can be. So, you know, we expect a good game. We expect it to be tough, but once we prepare, you know, in training and off the field, go out there and execute the job.
Finally, Matthew, and you're in board.
Yes.
Trinidad was one of the last 4 games. Well, in those 4 games, attempted to create a lot of chances. What are the strengths that you see in Trinidad team despite them not winning the last 4 games?
Yeah, I think, as I said, I think we had a local camp, and it was the first time that we'd seen Trinidad, and Dwight York had just taken over, and I knew they had ability, quality. And then we played them in the Unity Cup, and you could see the difference and the improvement. I watched them in the Gold Cup. You could see the improvement also. And USA, you can do that. You can lose to them. The games against Haiti and Saudi Arabia were games in which they very easily could have won. So for me, they're improving. They have, like us, they have speed, athleticism. They're strong and fast, and they've got good players, good individual players that can win football matches. And I think that's what it's about tomorrow. Them big players, the important players. They're the ones who must deliver. Whoever delivers will win the game.
Lastly, going.
Coach, Shamar Nicholson wasn't in the setup for the last set of matches, but he was back in the squad. Came on against Bermuda. Pretty good head on. I think it plans to have him play a bigger role tomorrow night against Trinidad.
Always, Shamar has to play a bigger role when he's with us. You know, he didn't feature in the summer for us. He wasn't playing at that present time. They were in a break. He's come back, played for his club. We've followed him, watched every game. He's getting minutes for his club. And we brought him back in because he's a big time player for Jamaica. Scored a lot of goals in the Caribbean and proved his worth in the last 20 minutes coming on, doing the job, getting us the fourth goal, which was very important.
Jamali, coach, thank you very much.
It does make me laugh every now and then. But obviously, delighted for Boza to be back in the team, especially when you consider the politics when others are being called up and you're wondering, well, why isn't he being called up and so on. But yeah, just sticking a pin in it with DC's question again. All I really can ask myself from that press conference there, again, in particularly with the line of questions from Bopri and also a division, is just about the how coachable some of our high profile players are. Like, I agree with what you have to say, DC says. Also, it seems like opponents know how to double, even triple team and frustrate the high-profile players. With the newer players, they are a bit of a unpredictability and less chance to prepare and attack. And also, I think you're working with the unknown. Like, how do you prepare to play against a player that you've never played against and you perhaps don't know? They probably don't have enough time to go and look at a Tyrese Campbell or a Bailey, for example. But especially when you're dealing with looking at how they play in the national team, because up until the Bermuda match, there isn't really much there for you to toy with, especially where Bailey is concerned. So yeah, I definitely agree with your comment. But again, I'm just going back to those experienced players there, and I'm just asking myself, like, how coachable are you guys? Because the younger players are definitely exposing you, like, and for all the right reasons. I don't think any player should be in our national team and be feeling as if they are guaranteed a call up and also guaranteed to be part of the starting 11. Because I think if you're doing the opposite of that then creates complacency. And I think it's quite clear and obvious that there are definitely some complacent players within our team. So again, how coachable are some of these players? Have we been seeing poor performances and subsequently far from flattering results due to uncoachable players? Is there a link between players' poor performances and also their inconsistencies in line with their club and subsequently with the national team? Because if there is, then is it really is the overarching issue pertaining to why we're not performing at our ultimate best? Is that essentially down to the coach and the coaching staff? Is that the overarching issue, or is it a combination of, yes, you can put the blame on the coach, but also the players? Those particular players in the national team are probably just not coachable. They're probably just not coachable. There's only certain things, again, that you can teach certain players. You can't teach a player how to put the bloody ball in the back of the net. I mean, at this level of the game where you're playing professional elite football, you're playing in elite competitions, be across your CONCACAF competitions, Nations League, Gold Cup, subsequently World Cup qualifiers. There's only so much that a coach can do for you. The rest of it is down to you. Again, how badly do you want it? Thank God up for the younger players there because they're probably a blessing in disguise. The big worry for those young players there that were called up for this particular window was, do we actually have enough time for these guys to go out there and do the necessary? And, you know, of course, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves because we've only seen that trio there play one game together. Thankfully, it ended in our favor in terms of the glimpses of brilliance there that we could see across the front three. But in terms of those young players, they're probably in a pole position where we can say bend the tree from it young. Like, you know, you either have the X factor or you don't. And you hear it time and time again, you know, but talent and potential isn't enough to take you to the top and keep you there. You know, yes, when you look at our front three, we've got a little bit of a slow learner there, but also I think we have players who are coachable. We have players who are capable of being the difference maker and also independent thinkers. These are things that I don't think a coach needs to drill into you. You either have it or you don't. You're either able to be an independent thinker. You know, so when you look back at that game against Bermuda, I'm not a fly in the dressing room, but I'm almost certain that the guys on the sideline, the coaching staff on the sideline, so you know the gaffer and his head coach weren't telling the likes of Richard King to ping passes forward. He's an independent thinker. He's using his instincts. He's trying to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. You know, coachable players, difference makers, independent thinkers. I think that's one of the massive positives that I can see from that game against Bermuda. And we compare it with other players, other more experienced players, and the drop off is astonishing. Like it's quite alarming. It's just these players, they're getting an abundance of flowers and praises because they're doing the very basics, which your coach don't need to teach you at this level. But yeah, that's my thoughts there on a couple of the things that was mentioned in the press conference in terms of the gaffer's response pertaining to the line of questions there that was tabled to him. And I guess we can go ahead and look back at the performance there in terms of, I don't know, maybe the player ratings from the 4-0 victory over Bermuda. Before I close off, we can go ahead and look at the performance there. Rockford, big up yourself. I hope you are in good health. I hope you guys can see this one on the screen in front of you. Do I need to make that one bigger for you guys? Yeah, let's make that bigger. Let's see if I can remove the comments as well as my banner. So what am I looking at? Okay, so how do I do this? Okay. So you can go ahead and cast your eyes. You know, obviously we know how this one panned out. Match day 1 in the final round of the CONCACAF FIFA Men's 2026 World Cup Qualifiers. Damian Lowe, the captain there, I guess you can call that captain fantastic, opened the scoring inside the 6 minutes. 20 minutes later, Ronaldo Cephas doubled the lead, subsequently followed by goal scorers KC Palmer and super sub Shamar Nicholson. And you can go ahead and see the player rating there. This one is taken from Sofa Score. Highest player rating there overall, we've got a 7.09 in comparison to Bermuda's 6.49. The highest player rate, and obviously the player rating varies depending on which website you're looking at. But in terms of this particular site, from what I can see, the player with the highest rating is Dexter Lambakisa. So it's Dexter Lambakisa followed by Damian Lowe. Damian Lowe obviously is wearing the captain's armband in the absence of the skipper, Andre Blake. Andre Blake is on the sidelines approximately 2 to 4 weeks. So hopefully, God's willing, he'll be back in time for next month's window. So, and following from Damian's low 7.6 player rating, the next highest rated player is joint Ronaldo Cephas and Jonathan Russell. And I think they are then followed by Richard King, Jamali Waite, Greg Lee, KC Palmer, and Tyrese Campbell. Hopefully you guys can see that one on the screen in front of you. If you can't, give me a shout in the comment section and I'll do my best to bring you guys up to speed. Pick up yourself there, Doc. Not quite. I will be closing off soon, but let me just go back to that player rating there. You guys can see the player rating, and I guess we can take a look at, before I close up, we can take a look at Trinidad and Tobago's player rating. But before this one slips my mind, so Damian Lowe, he's been given one of the highest player rating, and the player that has a higher rating than the captain is Dexter Lambakisa, right? So Damian Lowe here has a player rating of 7.6. Dexter Lambakisa, to reiterate, has a player rating of 7.8. And I do want to give Damian Lowe his credit because he's a player there that faces an abundance of criticism. Whether you think that's fair or not, I'll leave that down to you guys to decide. But I think, maybe, I don't know, you can call it overpraising. I don't think it is. I think it's well-deserved flowers placed at the bottom of Damian's Lowe feats. I think that was a captain's performance, quite literally, from the player there that's usually the vice captain, again stepping up in the absence of the injured Andre Blake. But from that performance there, I think we can all agree, despite the heavy criticism that is usually tied to his name, that he gave us a captain's performance. He stepped up in the absence of skipper Andre Blake. And I think scoring inside the 6th minute, I think when you do things like that, what you actually do in reality is set the tone. And I think that was an absolute must in a game where you want to start off on the front foot, and more so in terms of results wise, you want to be getting a win. But not just that, but you want to be getting a win that also comes with a healthy goal difference. I think, scoring inside the 6th minute from the captain not only set the tone, but I think it also helped to settle the front three, a front three that is vastly inexperienced when it comes to playing with each other. They've never played with each other before, up until the Bermuda game. So I think when the captain stepped up, and I think that was a striker's finish from Damian Lowe, I think he definitely helped to calm things down a bit if there were any nerves. And perhaps you have naturally you will have nerves going into games, especially when you care about something, when you're passionate about any project that you're taking on. There's always going to be those little nerves, those little butterflies in your stomach. And I'm sure, the players are human beings. They're no difference to you and I. So they probably had some nerves there. We couldn't see it, thankfully, especially from those the young trio there across the front three. But again, I think getting that goal there from Damian Lowe absolutely helped to calm the nerves. And who else other than your captain, one of the most experienced player out in the black, gold, and green for the Reggae Boyz. And I think with a player like Damian Lowe, it's almost written in the stars in terms of whether we qualify for next summer's World Cup. I hope and pray to God that we do. But I think it's almost written in the stars for a player like a Damian Lowe to score a decisive goal. And we know he has it in his arsenal to do so, but it's almost just so written in the stars for a player like the vice captain Damian Lowe to score those decisive goals, those tone setters for us. And I think for someone like him, I'm not going to say that he wants it more than his teammates, because who am I to say that? I think they all equally, I should think, want it just as bad as each other. But for someone like Damian Lowe, he probably wants it a tad bit more. Now, again, not saying that he does, but he probably wants it just a tad bit more because of the history that's at stake for him. He needs no introduction. We don't really need to sit here and do a little history lesson on who he is and his father. But for those of you who aren't aware, his dad was part of the very first Jamaica football team that successfully qualified for a World Cup. And obviously we're talking about the World Cup of 1998. So I'm sure he wants to put himself in the history book of saying, father and son to qualify for a World Cup, father and son to play at a World Cup. So I think, from an outsider looking on, I don't think it's far-fetched to say, perhaps he does want that a little bit more. Not saying that he does, but I wouldn't wouldn't be surprised if that is the case, that he's got that burn, that fire in his stomach to say, you know what, I want this, and I want to be the person that's scoring the decisive goal. So far he's giving us a tone setter. If he can go ahead and do maybe one or two better against where arch Caribbean rivals Trinidad and Tobago in tomorrow's match, another decisive game, then fair play to him, and long may it continue, long may the goals continue, long may the assists continue. And in terms of written in the stars, again, it's written in the stars for a Damian Lowe to score the decisive goal to take the men's team back to a FIFA Men's World Cup, first time in doing so since 1998. And I think it's probably also written in the stars for someone from the JPL to be the decisive goal scorer when that golden moment appears before the year concludes. But by then we should know whether or not we've booked a ticket to the World Cup. So how magical would it be for it to be a player like a Warner Brown, you know, heavily slept on. We know that those Jamaica Premier League players are heavily slept on, but you know, a player like Warner Brown is a blessing in disguise. He's proving that, look, if I am good enough to play, I should play. Doesn't matter whether you respect the JPL or not. You know, he's a player there that deserves to be in the national team. Long may it continue. And in terms of the JPL players there, I'm going to add Richard King to it. I know he's now playing for St. Mirren in Scotland, but obviously he broke into the team while he was a JPL player. So how magical would it be for Richard to give us a Kingsman performance and take us back to the World Cup? It's those moments that are just written in the stars. Those are what you call silencing the naysayers, and I am all for it. Could it be Bailey that does it? You know, new recruit, 20 years old, I believe, young, relatively new to the team. Could he be the man that when that golden moment appears, could he be the one that grabs the game by the scruff of the neck and takes Jamaica back to the biggest of stage? Could it be a Dexter Lambakisa? You know, could it be a player from the diaspora? There's so many wonderful stories there that's just written in the stars, and I am just praying to God that it does come to fruition for someone. I don't know who that player is going to be, but I am just praying to God that your story does come to fruition. And can you imagine if you're a player, you know, you've worked your ass off up until this point, and you are the man that takes your country back to the biggest of stage sports, the biggest stage. I don't think there's a sporting competition that's bigger than the FIFA World Cup, whether you're talking about the men's side of things or the women's side of things. I think it's the biggest sporting competition in the world, whether you want to say arguably or factually. Can you imagine being that goal scorer that does that, brings an end to almost 30 years of waiting? That's the type of thing that makes a grown man cry. Whoever that player is, you're going to be shedding tears of joy, because you're going to be the man to uplift your nation. You're going to be the man that goes home and tells his kids this story a million times over, and your kids are going to tell their kids, and they're going to tell their kids, and you're going to be bragging on your country. You're going to be bragging with you, and it's going to be redemption. So many players there have a story to tell, and I cannot wait to see who is going to be the one that puts up the Kingsman performance, who is going to be the one to write their names in the history book. I cannot wait, guys. It's the one thing that I'm truly excited about to see who's going to be the player to do this. Right now, I can't tell you who that person is, but all I can say is I wish you the very best of luck. I want these players to remember those dark and lonely times when your mommy and your daddy or your guardian had to clean your filthy boots for you, and you know, the times where your mom or your dad didn't feel like taking you to football, you know, maybe on a Sunday or during the week. Imagine them leaving from work to come and take you to play football in the rain, the sunshine. Sometimes if you're playing overseas, in the cold, in the snow. Back then, countries in Europe were much colder than it is now. Like, imagine all those trials and tribulations that your loved one went through to get you to where you currently are, and imagine how proud you're going to be making them. I'm sure you've made them proud already, but you can make them even more proud. to say that, look, I'm the man that took my country back to the big times. I'm the man that took my country back to the World Cup. All those years of cleaning your dirty, filthy kits, surely is absolutely worth it. I'm sure it's worth it now, but it could even be more worth it if you manage to do what many think is the unthinkable. See what you guys are saying there in the comment section. Click on CFAS, look at his numbers. Man didn't misplace a single pass. All right, so this is Ronaldo CFAS. This is one of his biggest fans. He calls him Mad Max. So you want me to click on Ronaldo CFAS. I've done exactly what you said. Minutes played, 71 minutes. Goals scored, 1-0 assists, 28 touches, accurate pass, 100%. So all the people there that like to slate Ronaldo CFAS, the stats don't lie. Key passes 1, crosses accurate, got 0, long ball accurate, or 1, shots on target 1. And you can see also his dribbles as well, ground duels, fouls. He was fouled 3 times. He had 1 clearance. So a good show of performance there from Ronaldo. He's another player there that is under a lot of criticism. Saw some frustration there from him. I can't remember who had the opportunity to pass a ball to him. Can't remember. Was it Tyrese? And he kind of had his arms up in the air in frustration. And I'm looking at I was laughing, I was thinking, now you know how it feels, Mr. CFAS. But yeah, a wonderful performance there from Ronaldo CFAS. Long may it continue. And let's see what you guys are saying. Could it be the fans who call for a penalty? You've lost me with that one, David J. Put some meat on the bones of that one there for me. When it comes to the JFF, anything is possible because the starting lineup will affect the game, in my opinion. Unless you know something that I don't know. Where we're going with that one? I hope the Reggae Boyz can get these points at home. Where we're going with that one? Tidy this one up for me. CFAS will be a handful tomorrow. Hopefully, I hope you're right. No, it was a call he didn't get. Okay. My apologies. Runners, big up yourself. Runners says, have faith. Yeah, I do have faith in them. I'm just sat here wondering who's going to be the person there that takes us back to the World Cup. That's really all that's on my mind. While you're and thank you so much for the super chat as well, Runners. Thank you so much for your super chat. While I am see what you guys are saying. So you're saying Madness CFAS give away the ball many times while I was watching the game the other day. Are you sure? Are you sure you're not just watching it thinking that he's doing exactly what you said he's doing? Did you watch that completely unbiased? That's a question, by the way, because I obviously would need to go back and fact check that one. So what you're saying that the stats that we're looking at as it relates to Ronaldo CFAS is, you're telling me that the stats isn't accurate? Is that what you're telling me, that the stats isn't accurate? It says accurate passes 8 out of 8, which is 100%. So you're saying that this stats that we're looking at currently isn't an accurate stat? Is that what you're telling me? But going back to, there's a comment here about the Jamaica Football Federation. Right, let's go back to this comment. Why? Because you just kind of drummed something into my mind with regards to Richard King and Mr. Speed. First of all, again, you know, flowers to Cavalier and Mr. Speed, because without jumping the gun, I feel like I'm right. Obviously only time will tell, but I feel like I'm right for saying that he has given us a player in Richard King that will be playing for the national team for the next decade, and obviously perhaps longer, depending on how well he conditions his body. And I think, you know, it's kind of similar to what we've seen in recent years, you know, from players from the Jamaica Premier League, or homegrown players like your Andre Blake or your Damian Lowe, you know, players of that ilk in terms of playing for the national team and their longevity in doing so. And what a player we have on our hands, someone who's young, he's on an upward trajectory. in terms of career path. He's level-headed, brave. He's got that sheer willpower, willing to pull strings from defense, as we've seen in the last game against Bermuda. Calm, composed, can give you the man of the match performances, and can also grab the game by the scruff of the neck. So saying that to say, I'm entirely grateful for Cavalier and also. And I'm talking about Cavalier FC. If you're new to the channel, I'm talking about Cavalier who play in the Jamaica Premier League. Entirely grateful to the JPL, Cavalier, and also Mr. Speed for giving us a wonderful player in Richard King. I'm sure he's going to improve with his career trajectory, and playing in Europe is only going to make it better. I would love for him to take a step after Scotland and come to England to continue his trade. But saying that to say, I mean, I feel like if Mr. Speed can give us a center back, I'm going to need him to do maybe 2 players better, or maybe 3 players better. I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit greedy, but I kind of need him to move to the next step now. I need him to go. And for me, Richard King and the likes of Warner Brown, they have set the tone. They've set the bar in terms of my expectation. My expectation and your expectation is going to be different to you guys there in the comment section. But my expectation is that these are the bar setters. You're coming into the team, you need to be just as good as especially like when you're talking about the JPL players. Maybe it's unfair to say that, but they're heavily scrutinized. So in the sense of JPL players, these are your curtain raisers. This is the quality that I'm expecting to see when you're coming from the JPL or any given league, to be honest with you, but more so the JPL, because that's kind of what I'm focusing on for this particular conversation. So going back to Mr. Speed, I feel like if you can give us a center back, then surely I need you to give us a 6, a 8, and a 10. I don't think that's too much to ask for, and I feel like you can do that in the JPL. Again, if you're going to go look to the JPL to give me a 6, a 8, and a 10, then they need to be of similar quality, similar ilk to your Warner Brown and your Richard King. So I need Mr. Speed to give me a 6, a 8, and a 10. And I'm not saying give that to me right away, because things take time. You can't just go there and just pluck out a couple players and say, there you go. Perhaps for the near future, I need a 6, a 8, and a 10 from the Premier League. Because if you can find and a player with the quality and help to develop a player of the quality of your Richard King, you can't convince me that the JPL cannot produce midfielders, 6, 8, and 10s. I just can't be convinced that that's not possible. If you can give me my centre back and you can give me a forward, a striker in the name of Warner Brown, and that's not the first striker to come from home soil, Boza is another one. Surely you can find me a 6, a 8, and a 10. And that's to add to my squad depth, because I think it's safe to say that the midfield is a bit bleak, isn't it? Like, the midfield needs to be worked on. Like, that's the engine of the team. That's supposed to be the area there that gets addressed. Like, that is the area there that links the front and the back together. You get that ticking, and all other areas, all other issues there should fall into place or become non-existent, in my opinion. Let's see what you guys are saying. Chorus, pick up yourself. You're saying 3-0 Jamaica, so you're going for a clean sheet. Not impressed with him. The next 2 games will, let me just how he will get better. Team like fair play. If you're not impressed, you're not impressed, innit? Every player lose the ball gets depossessed. Wingers and forwards in particular, just a given. Fair play. It shouldn't be used to flog players. It is what it is. Frustrating as Mad Max is. He's a danger, and that's why he's called Mad Max, because he's unpredictable. I think he is heavily criticized, though. I feel like, I don't know. At this point, this man is probably going to have to score the winning goal to take Jamaica back to the FIFA Men's World Cup. For players, for him not to be heavily criticized, even if you feel like the criticism is necessary. I just kind of feel like it's a massive overreaction when it comes to Ronaldo's CFAS. I don't know. Let me know what you guys make of that. So I guess we could segue before I close up and look at our opponents, right? Trinidad and Tobago. Should we go ahead and look at Trinidad and Tobago, close this down. Is there any other play that you guys want to look at before I segue? Doc said he wanted to look at Ronaldo's FIFA stats. Is there any other plays that you guys want to look at? And my only wish from that game is when, where is he? Richard King pinged that ball forward to Bailey, and the touch was just magnificent. And I really wish that one found the back of the net. Let me know if you guys want me to look at any other player stat-wise before I segue and look at the stats there for Trinidad and Tobago. You guys are silent in the comment section, so I guess you guys want me to keep it moving. Let's see. How do I do this? All right, let's see. Jamaica. So you guys can see the table. This is how the table is looking. Just to reiterate, we looked at this one on the last live stream. Obviously, one match played apiece. Jamaica out in front, 3 points in our back pocket. We have a goal difference of +4, having defeated Bermuda. They currently sit rock bottom. And we obviously defeated them 4-0. Curaçao and Trinidad and Tobago, their game ended in a draw, so 1 point each. So let's go ahead and click on Trinidad, see how they performed against Bermuda stats wise. What's the stats saying for them? Why is it not bringing up the stats for Bermuda? What am I doing wrong? Sorry, for Trinidad. Not now. Stats, okay. Why is it giving me CONCACAF stats? I don't want that. I want the Curaçao game. Okay, there we go. Did anyone watch the game? Did you guys manage to catch up? I think this one actually kicked off after our match against Bermuda. Did you guys watch the game? Goalkeeper looks like he put in a shift. Highest rated player. He's got a 8.1. Looks like they had a good performance defensive wise there as well. Got some 7s across the board. Stat wise, it looked like a fairly, I know this isn't rocket science, but looked like a fairly even game in terms of performance. Obviously, we know this one ended 0-0. So how did this one? What did you guys make of the game? Did you guys watch the match? Janet, big up yourself. Internet, my apologies. I caught the second half. Trinidad dominated the second half, just no cutting edge up front. Oh, so their issue is they're not able to find the back of the net. Interesting. Hopefully that's the case tomorrow. So they haven't found their shooting boots. Okay. So not surprised based on the stats that we're currently looking at. I would like to say long may it continue for that particular match there against Jamaica. I'm not really going to be wanting no country to beat my own team. And hopefully we're able to get the all-important 3 points against Trinidad and Tobago tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about some match facts on tomorrow's live stream as we look at the build-up to kick off. If you're in Jamaica, I've got about 11% until my Mac dies on me. If you're in Jamaica, I do hope that you head to the National Stadium, pending that it is safe for you to do so. Go out there and be the ultimate 12th man. Let's go ahead and look at the teams there that's already qualified for next summer's World Cup. We already know when it comes to the CONCACAF region, overall, that's 6 places there originally up for grab, 3 given to the co-hosted nations, that is Mexico, Canada, and the USA. I'm getting a signal that my battery is going to die, so I have to speed this one up and cut out a couple of what I planned for you guys. Fabi Sachs, big up yourself. I hope you're well. Look, but with Talawa, definitely 4 love tomorrow again. I am not betting against you. I am not betting against you. So let's look at the teams here that's already qualified for the FIFA Men's 2026 World Cup. As I said, 3 co-hosting nations are already qualified. All right. So in terms of CONCACAF, 6 direct spots there up for grabs, 3 already given to the co-hosted nations. So you already know that only 3 more spots up for grabs. We also got the +2 confederation playoffs, which obviously we don't want to go down that route. So ideally we'd love to go ahead and qualify for the final round and avoid any potential playoffs. We don't really want that. Right. So these are the teams here that's already qualified for the next summer's World Cup. Canada, Mexico, and the United States, and they are joined by Japan, New Zealand, Iran, Argentina, Uzbekistan, Korea Republic, Jordan, Australia, Ecuador, Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, Colombia, Morocco, and Tunisia. I think Tunisia actually qualified, I think it was today. It was either today or yesterday. So that is how we're looking. Let me know how confident you guys are feeling in the comment section. Do you think that we're going to qualify for the next summer's World Cup? Or do you guys think that one's going to pan out? Are you feeling confident? So just to reiterate, at the conclusion of group play, the 3 group winners will qualify directly for the FIFA 2026 Men's World Cup. And they're, as I said, going to be joining co-hosts Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Additionally, the 2 best second place finishers will advance to a FIFA Intercontinental playoffs, and that one there will be played in the month of March 2026. I know some of you are high and mighty, big and bossy, so you don't want to go to no intercontinental playoffs, and maybe we won't have to. See what you guys are saying before I close off on the live stream. Some weird interesting comments from York pre-game. We respect Jamaica, but we don't. I saw that as well. I mean, I don't even have time to dive into that one. I don't think they are in a real healthy place themselves despite the results. I love it. I love it. I love the fighting talk. I love that. You got to pick that up in the changing rooms. Stick that up in the changing rooms at the National Stadium. He's basically saying that you ain't nothing special. He's basically saying that you are nothing special. You're just ordinary. So if you can use that as motivation there, the Reggae Boyz, that will be good. That will be something that I'll be very pleased to see. And the reason why I like it, I kind of want it to be like that. I don't really want them respecting us. I want you to be as disrespectful as possible, because I kind of like to use that as fuel, or at least I'd like the players to use that as some level of fuel. And why should they respect us? You know, it's like, we are definitely their biggest Caribbean rivals, right? There's no other nation that's a bigger Caribbean rivals than us and them. And would Manchester United and Liverpool be saying sweet words about each other? No. Would Arsenal and Tottenham be saying sweet words about each other? No. So I don't expect them to say anything less than that. And I hope they keep it like that. Keep it feisty. Just make sure that you back your chat come match day. Make sure that your action is as loud as your talk come the end of those 90+ minutes. Trini will throw everything at us tomorrow because they need the points, and also because we are the best in the Caribbean. They want to prove a point. Exactly. We should not take any match as a walkover. This is we really shouldn't, and hopefully we don't. Hopefully we don't get complacent. Yes, we will go to the World Cup. It's better we win the group so we can get a better team to play against. Yeah, I'm hoping we avoid all that extra stuff. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't want it if it's our only hope of going to a World Cup. I just don't want. I want us to avoid the FIFA Intercontinental playoff as best as possible, and just do the job before the ending of the year. Just do what's absolutely necessary and take us back to the big times. if the Reggae Boyz can clinch in the national stadiums tomorrow night, Dennis Brown, The Promised Land is the only tune that ought to play. Might have to get you on the DJ decks. Might have to get you on the DJ decks. And I think I'm going to have to love you and leave you. What's my battery saying? Saying I've got 7%. I think I'm going to have to love you and leave you. If you're watching this one back on replay, I want you guys to let me know if you think our players are coachable, right? Especially when you're looking at those experienced players there and the newcomers. Of the two, who do you guys think is the most coachable? Let me know in the comment section and I will be responding to you guys. All right, let's go ahead and see. Like I said, I'm going to leave the rest of what needs to be said for tomorrow's live stream. You guys want to watch some football? Knockins is live. He's showing Tivoli Gardens versus Spanish Town Police. So that's if you guys want to catch up on some football, you can go ahead and do that. What's up next for you guys? I know you guys love your football. In the less than 30 minutes time, you should be able to go over to Elite Sports TV. He's going to be doing some tickets giveaway, 40 tickets to give away. So that's a lot. And it says there, let's go onto his channel to see. It says that he's got a special guest joining. So make sure you go over and like up the stream and tune into that one, especially if you got 40 tickets up for grabs. If you're in Jamaica, you'll be silly not to participate in that giveaway. So you can go ahead and click that link at the bottom of my comment section. I've just giving you guys the link to his live stream. Go over there, like up the stream. If you're in Jamaica, participate in that giveaway. So you guys are all set for the remainder of your evening. Once I close up, you don't have long to go until Mr. Jackson starts his live stream. Before I forget my manners, massive thank you to those of you there in the comment section. Thank you each and every time for blessing me with your precious time. It does not go unnoticed. I think you know me by now. I am feeling hungry, so I'm going to have to go and stuff my face. And again, no, I'm not forgotten. I do have that big announcement coming up for you guys this week. The plan was to give it to you guys today, but there was some technical issues which was completely out of my control, and I tried tirelessly over the weekend to resolve it. And funny enough, it was only resolved just before I went live. And obviously, it's completely killed everything for me because it's the end of the day. So there's not really much that I can do. Tomorrow is match day. So that then takes up the bulk of our attention. So I'm looking at Wednesday, you know, once the match is out the way, to then make an announcement to you guys. If you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Do go ahead and hit the like button. And also, if you're making your way home from work, I hope you arrive home safe and unharmed. If you're on the graveyard shift, I do hope that you arrived at your destination and in reverse, safe and unharmed. Hit that like button. It's not going to cost you a penny. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I do hope that you guys will be blessing me with a moment of your time for tomorrow's live stream. I saw someone in the comment section that Corey says 3-0. Paris is going for a cheeky 3-0. Fabi Sachs is going for 4-0 Jamaica. So you guys are feeling quite confident. Long may it continue. I hope that you guys are accurate with your score prediction. It would be nice to keep another clean sheet. Best of luck to Jamali Waits and his teammates. Chorus, big up yourself in the comment section there for your prediction. Runners, again, thank you so much for your super chat. Again, guys, do make sure you keep your eyes on Elite Sports TV. They're going live in less than 26 minutes. So go grab your snacks, warm up your dinner, and make yourselves comfortable. I'm sure it's going to be an entertaining live stream as per usual. I've got some more work to do. I've got 3% battery. I'm going to charge this one up and get to work. Thank you so much for blessing me with a moment of your time. And you know how it goes. Until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Tarawa TV with Crystal Davis.